And thank you for joining us for this announcement about our Lincoln on the Move Street Improvement Program. And with me today are Lincoln City Council Chair Sändra Washington, Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Director Liz Elliott, Lincoln Fire and Rescue Chief Dave Engler, Lincoln Chamber of Commerce President Jason Ball, Home Builders Association of Lincoln President Beau Daffer, Realtors Association of Lincoln Board President Matt Kirkland, and Amy Eidenmiller with the City of Lincoln's Advisory Committee on Transportation, as well as City Councilman Tom Beckius. Investing in streets across our city and within our neighborhoods is a top priority for all of us and for everyone who calls Lincoln home. Well-maintained streets support economic opportunity, they enhance public safety, and they grow the great life here in Lincoln. And those are just a few of the reasons why street investments are core to the City of Lincoln's mission. Back in 2018, a really large community coalition of Lincoln residents, businesses, and community leaders identified a $33 million annual gap in funding to meet the needs of the city's transportation network. Just a year later, our community helped to bridge that gap, voting in favor of a quarter-cent sales tax to commit more funding to streets. And through that quarter-cent sales tax that passed in 2019, a tax better known as Lincoln on the Move, we have been able to reduce that annual revenue gap by nearly $18 million annually, and since 2019 have invested $85.7 million additional dollars to deliver nearly 160 lane miles of new and resurfaced streets through 55 additional street construction projects. But we know our work isn't finished, and we would like to ensure that this work continues. We're here this morning to talk about this important Lincoln on the Move Street Initiative work, to talk about the good news if we continue it, and the bad news if we don't. We'll start with the bad news. If the quarter-cent sales tax is allowed to expire on September 30th, 2025, Lincoln will lose that $18 million in annual street funding, which jeopardizes our community's growth, quality of life, and even our public safety. That, of course, is the bad news. Here's the good news. If we continue Lincoln on the Move funding at the quarter-cent level, starting on October 1st, 2025, you won't see these important things that we all value put at risk. And equally important, if we continue Lincoln on the Move funding at the quarter-cent level, you won't see any increase in your taxes, which is why I am here alongside community leaders who share my support for Lincoln on the Move street work. Today I'm here to announce that I'm working with members of our City Council to give our community members the chance to decide if they want to continue Lincoln on the Move street improvements. And to that end, the City Council agenda for Monday, January 13th includes 3 Lincoln on the Move items. The first is a resolution to place the question on the April 8th primary election ballot of whether to continue the current quarter-cent sales tax for streets for an additional 8 years. The second item is a resolution that, if the voters do approve continuing the sales tax, would freeze the inflationary adjustment for impact fees for 8 years, similar to what occurred with the current sales tax program that voters approved in 2019. And the third item is a resolution to create a new interlocal agreement with the Railroad Transportation Safety District that would help fund final engineering and construction costs for the 33rd Street and Cornhusker Highway intersection improvement project. All 3 items will appear on the council agenda for first reading next Monday, January 13th. Then on January 27th, the City Council will hold a public hearing on all 3 items. And then finally, on February 3rd, the City Council will take a vote on all 3 Lincoln on the Move items. And if they are approved, the sales tax continuance will be placed on the April 8th city primary election ballot for you to decide whether to continue this important initiative. And if you do, the continuation of the Lincoln on the Move initiative would run from October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2033, or a total of 8 years. That's 2 years longer than the current initiative, to ensure that the city can fix more streets sooner rather than later for everyone in our community who depends upon them. We have lots of community leaders here to speak to the value of Lincoln on the Move. And at this time, I'd like to invite up one of them, Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Director, Liz Elliott. Director Elliott?
Thank you, Mayor. In less than a year, Lincoln on the Move funding is set to expire, putting the ability to improve and grow our street network at its current pace at risk. This means without Lincoln on the Move, $18 million in annual street funding goes away. That's more than $140 million in additional revenue that would no longer be there to improve more arterial and neighborhood streets. These are devastating numbers for our street program. Instead of completing 65 projects in 6 years, it would take us up to an estimated 22 years to complete the same number of projects without Lincoln on the Move. Going without the sales tax means a future with fewer street improvements, longer wait times for street projects, and higher street repair costs for everyone as interest rates and material costs continue to climb. This also means that the community's growth on the edges of town slows because there will be limited funds for new streets. Looking to the future, of the 10 street projects planned for the final year of this initiative, only 2 or 3 would be completed without Lincoln on the Move funding. The others would be forced to be delayed. This challenge affects all of us. Without Lincoln on the Move, most of the improvement projects budgeted and planned in the 2025 construction season could see delays as far as the year of 2041. Some examples include the improvement project on Pine Lake Road from 14th to 32nd Streets in South Lincoln that shows potholes and street-based failures in need of rehabilitation. These would have to wait. In North Lincoln, streets like 33rd and Fletcher from Superior to 27th, the cracks and divots would be delayed multiple years due to a lack of funding. Over in Central Lincoln, years of wear and tear on streets in the East Ridge neighborhood make improvements in this area a priority. But without Lincoln on the Move funding, improving so many streets in this neighborhood all in one season would not be possible. Street conditions in other areas, like what we see on L Street, East Ridge, Taylor Park, Taylor Vista, Parkvale, and others would remain cracked, rough, and unwelcoming for even longer. The same goes for streets in Northwest Lincoln, along Northwest 12th Street, from West Adams Street to West Highlands Boulevard. This section of street needs improvements now. Without Lincoln on the Move, the list of improvements and the price of repairs would grow with time. And along South 70th Street, from Pioneers to Van Dorn in East Lincoln, neighbors are excited to see improvements in the arterial street in the summer of 2026. But without Lincoln on the Move, they would have to drive on an unsmooth surface for much, much longer. Everyone who uses our city streets contributes to the Lincoln on the Move sales tax and contributes to helping enhance our community's quality of life. We are all responsible for our street conditions. Residents, businesses, and visitors contribute to this important initiative by eating lunch at our local restaurants, staying the weekend to attend concerts and sporting events, and heading out to our stores to shop. Visitors alone contribute 30% of all Lincoln on the Move sales tax funds to improve our streets. Keeping this sales tax going is key to adding to the nearly 163 lane miles of improvements already completed and planned through the first 6 years of the program. Lincoln on the Move allows us to complete 5 times as many projects in a single year with this funding than without it. Funding to continue our street progress is needed for our future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Elliott, and thank you to you and the entire team at Lincoln Transportation Utilities for all the work that you've done and all the work you'll continue to do. Now, well-maintained streets and roads are crucial not only for our growth, but also for maintaining our rapid public safety response. And here to share more about the importance of maintaining Lincoln on the Move from a public safety perspective is Lincoln Fire and Rescue Chief Dave Engler. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Funding for well-maintained streets is what enables first responders like police, paramedics, and firefighters to get to emergencies faster and safer. Our city is expanding with houses being constructed further from the closest fire station. In a medical emergency, we have to reach our patient within 4 minutes to ensure the best outcome for our patients. New and resurfaced streets ensure that our firefighters shave off that extra minute or even 30 seconds that can make all the difference in those emergencies. With the center of our city, the difference between a road filled with potholes and a road that has been newly repaved is a factor in how quickly and safely we can reach our family. Lincoln on the Move is also providing funding to the Railroad Transportation Safety District. I want to thank County Commissioner Rick Vest and the other members of the RTSD for creating safety improvements at railroad crossings that help prevent crashes. They are protecting both the community and the first responders who serve the community. This Lincoln on the Move funding is particularly important for the 33rd and Cornhusker project. Traffic operations are inadequate and delays are excessive because of passing trains that block North 33rd Street, Adams, and North 44th Street for 3.6 hours each day. Lincoln Fire and Rescue is forced to prioritize alternative routes to avoid delays for emergency vehicles. From December 21 through July 2024, LFR responded to more than 650 incidents across the train tracks with at least 46 train delays. Because of this, our emergency responders often take an alternative route, which significantly increases response times. It's clear the quarter-cent sales tax we are already paying supports public safety. What's also clear is that the loss of that funding would diminish our ability to keep you and your family safe. Mayor?
Thank you so much, Chief, for all you do to keep our families safe and for being here today. Now here to talk more about the importance of Lincoln on the Move to businesses and why its continuation is important to continue our economic growth is Lincoln Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Jason Ball. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. The Lincoln Chamber recognizes that robust street funding is vital to the city's economic growth by ensuring efficient movement of goods and services, which supports businesses and fosters job creation. Investing in new streets also addresses housing needs by opening up areas for new development and increasing the housing supply, which keeps downward pressure on the cost of housing. And well-maintained streets also strengthen Lincoln's ability to attract tourism events, drawing more visitors who spend on local goods and services and boost sales tax revenue in Lincoln. Through Lincoln on the Move, over $80 million has been invested into our streets, resulting in the completion of more than 55 projects, including the smooth 84th Street corridor north and south of O, 9th Street from K to Van Doren, Cotner from O to South Street, several neighborhoods including Union College, Highlands, Park Manor, Witherby, Havelock, and Lincoln High have seen investments, and by the end of this summer, Normal Boulevard from 33rd to 70th. No matter where you live, if you've driven on Lincoln streets in the past few years, you have benefited from the investments of Lincoln on the Move. And without the local option sales tax, these projects would not have happened, and we would miss future opportunities to fix our corridors and improve important streets. I'm proud to stand here on behalf of the Chamber's Board of Directors, our more than 1,700 business members, investors, and stakeholders, and the entire Lincoln business community to express our strong support for the continuation of Lincoln on the Move. If we want a good driving experience, if we want more homes built, if we want a growing economy, and that is decidedly what the business community desires, then Lincoln needs to continue to invest in its transportation networks. This is our opportunity to make sure businesses remain strong, housing and development grows affordably, and we bring more tourism events to Lincoln. Through Lincoln on the Move, the people of Lincoln are empowered to choose to invest in our community and its economic future. And this spring, we hope that they will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason, and to everyone at the Chamber for your partnership and for our work together to get to this point and into the future. All right. New street investments increase the supply of housing, as you heard. They can create construction jobs, and they offer more homeownership opportunities for Lincoln families, and we all want that. So here to share more about how a potential loss of Lincoln on the Move funding would impact home building is Beau Daffer, president of the Home Builders Association of Lincoln. Beau?
Thank you, Mayor. Like she said, my name is Beau Daffer. I'm with BIC Custom Homes. I'm president of the Home Builders Association of Lincoln. The Lincoln on the Move sales tax has provided funding for streets, which are necessary infrastructure to build new housing. Increasing the inventory and supply of housing in Lincoln lowers the cost of housing across the city. Affordable and safe housing attracts businesses to Lincoln, providing new job opportunities and strengthening our community. This is why the Home Builders Association of Lincoln supports the renewal of the quarter-cent sales tax for streets. If approved on the ballot in April, we urge everyone to vote in favor of renewing this important funding stream for the future of Lincoln. Like I said last time, no new streets, no new houses. Thanks, Mayor.
It's just that simple, isn't it? All right. Well, thank you, Beau.
Thank you.
By helping more Lincoln families buy homes, street construction also supports the Realtors, whose job is to sell those homes. And here to talk about the significance of Lincoln on the Move for home sales and for Realtors is Matt Kirkland, Realtors Association of Lincoln Board President. Matt, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Matt Kirkland. I have the privilege of serving as the president of the Board of Directors for the Realtors Association of Lincoln. I am here representing today more than 1,000 real estate practitioners who abide by a stringent code of ethics in helping Lincolnites buy and sell property. Back in 2019, the real estate community recognized the need for more road funding. We have come a long way in the community since that pivotal yes vote, but we as realtors clearly recognize that there's more to be done. That's why our collective membership has signed on to support, promote, and pass a continuation of the good work being done today. Good roads and quality infrastructure like water and sewer service are vital to the growth of housing units. Like many communities across the country, Lincoln faces a housing shortage. This shortage drives up prices and unfortunately keeps many first-time home buyers out of the market. Make no mistake, Lincoln is in demand. People want to move here. We have a wonderful community. We need to continue to fund our road needs and continue to utilize a small portion of sales tax to do so. That's why I and 1,000 of my peers support this ballot issue. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you to you and the Realtors for your years of support of street work and infrastructure. So the decision on where to direct Lincoln on the Move investments is led by Lincoln Transportation Utilities with the guidance and oversight of our Advisory Committee on Transportation, or the ACT. And the ACT is a 14-member, all-volunteer body that has dedicated significant time and energy to provide this extra layer of assurance and oversight to the work we do. And we're really grateful for the service that they're performing for our community. And I'd now like to invite up ACT member Amy Eidenmiller to talk about why Lincoln on the Move is so important to our community and to her daily life. Amy, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. I have been a member of the ACT since its inception in 2019. Improvements to street projects have been, or street improvements, I apologize, have happened 5 times faster than they ever did without the initiative. Nearly, as mentioned, nearly 163 lane miles were able to be completed because of the sales tax initiative. 84th Street is an example of a street. Anytime I'm on a bus or in a car, I can feel the difference. That is a project that was part of Lincoln on the Move. It is much smoother and quieter. Walking along 11th Street near Lincoln Mall is another example. As a pedestrian, when you hit potholes or the ruts in the street, broken pieces, it's very difficult and a little scary, especially when you can't see them coming. It's a much smoother improvement thanks to Lincoln on the Move. Without the quarter-cent sales tax, these crucial projects will not happen anymore. There's much work to be done, and improving streets is something that needs to happen, and the quarter-cent sales tax will definitely add a great addition to funds to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for being here today and also for the years of service that you've given to our community to help make these projects come to reality. Your prioritization, your oversight has made all the difference, and we're really grateful to you and the other members of the ACT. All right, as our partners in local government, the Lincoln City Council members play a central role in supporting street investments. And here to share more about the council's and the public's role in the future of Lincoln on the Move is Lincoln City Council Chair Sändra Washington. Madam Chair.
Mayor, thank you. As chair of the Lincoln City Council, I have the opportunity to talk with a broad range of community members about their needs and concerns. And for many of the residents, streets are their number one priority. Well-maintained streets are one of my and the City Council's top priorities too. Many of us talk to constituents every week about streets. And so we are really glad to be supportive of Lincoln on the Move. What is also really important is public engagement in the decision-making process, and that's what makes this moment significant. Today's announcement will help ensure our community members to continue to have a say in the direction of Lincoln on the Move. As Mayor mentioned, here's the schedule before the Lincoln City Council, and here's how the public can be involved in the discussion. The first reading of Lincoln on the Move ballot resolution and the two associated resolutions will occur this coming Monday, January 13th at 3 p.m. Because of our observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on the following Monday, City Council will hold a public hearing on all three resolutions on Monday, January 27th at 5:30 p.m. The public hearing is a great opportunity for our residents to make their voices heard and to weigh in on these resolutions. And finally, on Monday, February 3rd, the City Council will vote on all three items related to the Lincoln on the Move initiative. If approved by my fellow council members, voters will then have the chance to determine the future of Lincoln on the Move at the ballot box during the April 8th city primary election. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Chair Washington, for being here and for your ongoing commitment to the street network, as well as yours, Councilman Beckius, and also to Councilman Schob, who has joined us. It really is important that we have the entire city working to make these important street improvements that are accelerating our community's momentum. Because without these investments, Lincoln's growth, our quality of life, home ownership, and our rapid public safety response have the potential to stall. And with that, we would be happy to open this up for any questions from the media.
Just to clarify, we talked last time about conversations of an increase, but no increase, same quarter-cent.
That's right. What we are proposing and asking the City Council to hold public hearing on is merely a continuation of the existing initiative. So on September 30th, when it would expire officially, it would continue on October 1st, and really the public will see no difference in their pocketbook, but they will see continued street improvements. If, however, the ballot initiative were to not go forward, if it were not to pass, all of these projects would be at risk, and people would notice a real difference in their quality of life, in the speed with which emergency responders can get to their homes in a crisis, and of course to our community's growth, because we are wanting to build more homes on the edge of town, and we need streets to get them there. Yes?
So I was wondering, my impression of the last ballot initiative is that it passed, but it was fairly tight on passing or not passing. And so over the course of the last few years, do you think people's opinions have changed about the initiative?
I think that's what we'll find out in the coming months. But what I would say is that at that time, people didn't have any real experience of what Lincoln on the Move could achieve. Now we've seen millions of dollars annually devoted to street repair, improvement, and construction. So people are feeling and seeing the improvements. And we anticipate and expect that because these are such important priorities for our community, that they'll want that to continue. What we want to make clear is that that progress won't continue if this doesn't get passed. We absolutely rely on these dollars at this time to make this progress at this pace and for this price. Any other questions? Yes.
Also, a few folks talked about kind of a focus on the 33rd and Cornhusker or things around the railroad. What does that project involve that's different from maybe the other projects?
Liz, do you want to take this one?
Sure.
It's a very complicated project.
It is a much, much larger project, and in addition to Lincoln on the Move funds, there are other partners involved, including the Railroad Transportation Safety District, including the railroads themselves, the university, the Army Corps of Engineers. So it is a much larger, complex project, but essentially what that will be doing is creating a overpass over the trains. So that way the public safety, the ambulances, the fire trucks trying to get to homes no longer have to reroute and go through neighborhoods and take longer. They will actually be able to continue moving even if there's a train running through that part of town. So it's a really large project, and without the Lincoln on the Move, the additional funds, it would take longer to get that project to construction and completed. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us for this news conference on just how essential Lincoln on the Move investments have been to our city's transportation system and to continuing to grow the great life in Lincoln. It really matters, and as you can see, we're all very concerned about what's at risk if this funding goes away.